Share, copy link. Not sure if it's keeping track of me when I flip off. Nobody's popping on. I'm just trying to share this around to a few people real quick. Nobody's popping on. I'm just trying to share this around to a few people real quick. Almost there. Anybody popping? Almost there. Sharing this to just a couple more people. Bear with me just a minute, guys. I'm just sharing this to just a couple more people. Bear with me just a minute, guys. I'm just sharing to a couple more people. Bear with me. All right, I'm on. What up, folks? What up? Y'all know how much I love walking. So guess what we're gonna do today? Ah! Not gonna do that. Hold up. Crap. Alright, come on now. Making me look silly. Alright. My peoples! We're gonna see how this goes. I'm not quite sure how well this thing's gonna go. Cause I got like one of these stick things, you know what I'm saying? But like, we'll see how it goes. We're gonna go on a walk right now. If it doesn't work, I'll switch to holding it in my hand, so bear with me, y'all. Alright. Going outside. Woo! That's right. Ah! Alright, I think I might just have to hold it. Because it's going backwards. Alright. Yes! What is going on, folks? Well, let's see. I had a couple things written down, so let's just get right into it. I don't know where to do with it. Greetings. Greetings, everyone. Got a haircut. I don't know if y'all are getting haircuts and doing things like that to take care of yourself. Make sure you are taking care of yourself if you are starting your recovery. I know, like, when I first got out of treatment, and I guess like before, I mean, obviously I was showering and such. Okay, this is all right. I don't know. Maybe we can't take a walk. I don't know. Is it jumping around too much? Oh, that's not that bad. Haircut already? Yeah. So I got all of them cut, like my dad said, and it's important before going into treatment. I mean, it's not like I wasn't showering. Obviously, I was showering, but I wasn't taking care of myself all that much. Maybe showering every 2 or 3 days. When I came in, my face was just, the beard was obviously unkempt, and I looked rough. I came in, I had these rose-colored prescription glasses that I that I was wearing when I came in. So I had super long, unkempt beard. Okay, Toby, it's my dog. He wants to go on the walk with us. Y'all want to see my dog? Check this out. Come here, Toby. Come here, Toby. Show the people. This is the Tobes. This is the Tobes. And y'all don't know. Y'all who don't know me, it takes me a second to get my brain, my wits about me. So bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. We'll get going. I'm trying. I try to get all this stuff taken care of before I get started, but it just isn't happening like that. So I'm doing my best, y'all. Appreciate your patience. It's funny, I get all these people I shared it to, and they hop on. They don't even give me 2 seconds to try to get my stuff together. Come on, Toby. It's just me, you, and one person. Come on, Toby. All right, so like I was saying, oh, he just wants to go in his kennel. Okay, cool. Even better. Okay, here we go. Now, like I was saying, when I first got the treatment, I had not been taking care of myself. And so in treatment, you're there for 30 days or 45 days for myself. And you start getting in a routine. So you start showering every day. I was also in Florida in the middle of the summer, so I was sweating all the time. I was literally actually kind of taking like 4 showers a day when I was in treatment. And when I got out, I just kind of kept taking my shower. I didn't get to use a razor while I was in treatment, so I got out, I started shaving my face. I'm an addict, or used to be a drug addict. Now I'm just a good dopamine addict. But I kind of got addicted to colognes and stuff when I got out, so I started buying all these colognes. And I came across this video where the guy said, it wasn't like a super mental health video. It was kind of actually like a dating coach video. And because I kind of had to learn a little bit about how to handle relationships better when I first got out. So I was watching these dating coach type videos, just kind of emphasizing how to maintain the masculine role in a relationship. That's not the point, I guess. So, but he said, and it stuck with me: look good, smell good, feel good. And some of y'all might have heard that before. Look good, smell good, feel good. And I don't know what percentage of how well I was feeling when I first got out of treatment had to do with me just taking a shower and shaving and putting on cologne. But I think it had a lot to do with it. Guys. So if you are starting out in recovery and you're kind of getting your stuff going, and you're not doing that much, even if you're not going out for the day, even if you're not like gonna go out and go to work, and just take a shower and put some fresh clothes on and spray a little smell good on it. It goes a long way. It just kind of signals to kind of helps raise your confidence. It raises your self-worth. Even if you're kind of doing it out of obligation, it still has that effect. And so I just really want to encourage you guys, make sure you're looking good, make sure you smell good, and I promise you it's going to help you feel better for sure. So I wanted to start I'm not going to walk the whole time, but I wanted to see how it would go. It seems like it's kind of jumpy, so I'm not quite sure if I'll do this again. Maybe there's some kind of I tried to use the little gimbal thing and it was a mess, so now I'm just holding it and it seems to be a little jumpy. But the reason why I wanted to do a little bit of walk, because anybody who's been in my classes that went to the treatment facility that I work at now, I'm going to try to avoid the name and stuff just in case somebody has a problem with it down the road. But I talk about walking a lot. And one of the main reasons is because when I was at treatment, I didn't do a lot of the things that I should have done. I didn't start a good routine. I didn't start going to the gym. I didn't start doing so many of the things that I should have done. And I know I should have done them because when I got out and actually started implementing those things into my life, every time I would implement something into my life that I should have added while I was there in treatment, I felt 10 times better the next week. And So I got out, didn't really start any of that, the routine. And those who know me, I started over in a fresh city and state. I realized what I learned about neural pathways and such is that if I went back home to the same city and state that I had struggled with drug addiction for so many years, then likely I would fall back into the same patterns of thinking, same patterns of thinking about myself and low self-worth and lack of confidence. And because of that, I would likely start using substances again. So, fresh city state, I'm down in Jacksonville Beach. I got as close to the beach as I possibly could, because I always wanted to live close to the beach. And most places at the beach are pretty expensive. And I was able to find a pretty decently priced townhouse in Jacksonville. And so I got up. So I get out and hey, what's up, brother?
All right. Doing good?
Yeah, just doing a live. What up? This is my guy right here, man. We go to church together.
Okay, great.
All right, Bubba.
Okay,
I'll see you, man. God
Okay.
bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I love this little town. Hey, how's the sound, y'all? Is the sound all right? Duval. All right. Oh, who's this? Prestige Worldwides. Okay. I don't know who that is. Oh, I think I know. All right. Anyway, sounds fine. Okay, good. So I get out and I was like, now what? What do I do now? It's like, well, I didn't really start much of a routine, but I did do a whole lot of walking while I was at treatment. So I just got out and I started taking a morning walk, just like I did in treatment. The treatment center facility that I work at and that I went to, I'm gonna go inside. It's too windy. It's all kinds of stuff going on. The facility's spread out, and so even if you're not really intentionally starting a routine of walking and going to the gym and doing all these things, just simply by getting up and going through the program every day, you have to do a lot of walking. And so when I got out, I was kind of like, what do I do now? Well, I walked a lot. Well, I sure walked a lot when I was there, so I just started doing this morning walk. And people that know me, you know that when I left treatment, I felt better than I'd ever felt in my entire life. And I felt so good that I was quite certain that it was only going to go downhill from there. There's no way that where I'm at can get any better. But I just kept taking that little morning walk, about 30 minutes a morning, nothing major. And that first week went by and I felt even better than the day that I left treatment, which I did not think was possible. So then I was like, oh man, this walking thing is kind of working for me. Maybe I'll start taking a walk in the evening. So I added a walk in the evening. And a week went by of me taking a morning walk and an evening walk, and I felt even better. Dang, man, I didn't even know this is possible. And it just keeps getting better and better. And so after that happened, I was kind of like examining these things that they were teaching me to do in treatment. They were telling me, obviously take a walk, go to the gym, start journaling, stretching, all these things that I didn't start while I was there. Now I was like, man, I need to start adding some of these things. And so the first thing I added was going to the gym. And starting a new habit, starting any kind of new neural pathway is difficult. And I watched this video that was talking, it was like, hey, are you trying to get going at the gym? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, are you having trouble getting going at the gym? And I'm like, yeah. And so the guy said, well, just to build up that neural pathway and to make it easier for you, start driving to the gym. Don't even get out. Don't even walk in the gym. Just drive to the gym. And then drive back home. And I was like, shoot, I can do that. That's easy. I can definitely drive to the gym and back. And I was living in an apartment complex. I'm covering up the wind on my ear, guys, because I know I can hear that it's loud. I'm about to get up out of the wind anyway. So I lived in an apartment complex that actually had a gym. So even easier than driving to the gym, I'll just walk to the gym. It was literally like 100 steps from my front door. And so I was taking what that video said. It had been a long time since I worked out or did anything for my physical health. And so I was really not talking about working out. So what I did is I just walked over to the gym. I took that 100 steps and got over to the gym. And I sat down on a bench there for a few minutes. And then I was like, well, that's what the video said. I guess I'm good now. So walked back to my apartment. And I did that like 2 days. And after the second day, I was kind of like, I walked over to the gym. And I was like, well, I'm already here. I might as well do a little something, which I did not do a lot, maybe just a few curls, something like that. But it was something. The reason why I'm saying this, you have to get this routine going, y'all. I don't know what your routine is looking like, but you have to have one. You hear me say a lot, like, you cannot just not do the old things. You have to replace the old things with something new. And maybe you got out of treatment not too long ago and you're feeling good and you're like, yeah, I don't even really need to do all this stuff. That's wrong. Okay, that's gonna jam you up. You have to continue. You have to continue this stuff, guys. Sorry, I'm back at home. Bear with me 1 second. It's pretty much all set up. I just see. Oh. See, it's all set up now. All right. But you have to keep it going. Do not. The enemy would want nothing more. The enemy would want nothing more for you to say you're good and you don't have to do any of this stuff anymore. He wants that. He wants you to feel good. Because if you start feeling good, you take your foot off the gas pedal. You take your foot off the gas pedal, then it's a slow creep back into the old life. It's not going to be like you didn't do your routine one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so depressed. It is a slow kind of trick you back into the old ways of thinking. So, if you are going to the gym, great. Keep going to the gym if you're going to the gym. If you are journaling, great. Keep journaling. If you're doing the things that you know you need to do, keep on doing them. But if you're not, you need to start. Okay? It does not mean that you're going to need to do these things for the rest of your life. But you're going to need to get some things going for more than just the 20 or 30 or 40 days that you were at treatment. Okay, got this light on. Okay, that light's on. Alright, and so I'm turning this around. My bad, y'all. I would say I'm sorry, except you know how I feel about saying sorry. So I apologize, we'll say that. Whoop. Now this gimbal wants to work. Okay, alright, we are almost, guys, we're almost there. I'm pretty much there. I'm already there, so don't go anywhere. Okay. Last time I did a live, I got more comments and questions about that than anything else. So before you even start asking, it's called kinetic wall art, okay? Anybody who sees, if somebody pops in the comments asking about what that is, just tell them, please, kinetic wall art. Okay? And then I can see this, make sure that I'm in the middle. Okay, I'm done, guys. My bad about the walk. I wanted to try to include the walk, but it was kind of just a disaster anyway. It was just popping on. All right, so if you're not doing anything else, let's get to walking, guys. Let's get up in the morning at a good time, not sleep in bed all day, and get out there and start taking a walk. It's going to do more for your brain and your mind than you can even imagine. Okay, so please do not think that you're good and you don't need to work on this stuff. Do not think you're good. My bad, I realize I don't even have the mic on yet. The mic is coming on. Mom, if you're on here, my bad. I tried to get a little bit more set up than typically, but there's always a little something. Okay. All right, so if someone pops on asking what's on the wall, what are you going to say? Somebody tell me what you're going to say. Just make sure you're paying attention. Let's see what I got here. Oh, this is a funny story, guys. Before we get back into recovery, I want to talk about when I turned 40 years old. So I went to treatment at 38 years old. Life got transformed, felt better than ever. A lot of you know my story. Well, on the day that I woke up at 40 years old, I went to the mirror and kind of washing my face off, and I look at my hairline. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, my hairline, oh my gosh, I'm going bald. Okay, so those of you who know about cognitive distortions, which cognitive distortions might be playing a part? Waking up in the morning, going to, oh my gosh, I'm losing my hair. I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody's got it. What cognitive distortion am I having? The thing is, I wasn't losing my hair. I just was 40. And I woke up and I started getting in my head and thinking I was losing my hair. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm losing my hair. And she said, no, you're probably not losing your hair. And I called my brother and I said, bro, I'm losing my hair. And actually, I was actually close to him. So I was at his house and I'm like, bro, look at my hair. It's going away. He's like, your hair's always been there. You've always had that hairline. And I'm like, no, bro, I know I've always had this hairline, but look, it's like, it's disappearing, it's going farther up. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. So, what did I do? I listened to them and said, you're right, guys. No, you're wrong. Anybody who knows me knows that's not what I did. So, what did I do? I started looking through the internet. I got to start taking some Rogaine. And then so I'm researching Rogaine, and I find out if you start taking Rogaine, you have to keep taking it like pretty much for the rest of your life. Because as soon as you stop taking it, all the hair that came back goes away. And so I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. So I'm searching the internet, what else can I find? What else? Here's some herbs that I can take for hair growth. So I buy these herbs and I start taking these herbs for hair growth. And guess what? Nothing really changed up here. But hair started growing out of my ear at a rapid... I know that's gross. I know we're talking about recovery. Just in case you didn't know, we're talking about... What up, Maddie? In that instance, I was talking about a cognitive distortion called jumping to conclusions. Or you could even say fortune telling. I saw this little bit of what I thought. It was a distorted... I didn't see it, the truth. There was this layer of now I'm 40, I'm getting old in my perception. So now I'm 40 and I'm getting old, and I look in the mirror and nothing has changed from the day before, except now I have this filter of this perception that I'm 40 and I'm old and I'm losing my hair. So I get these herbs and I start taking them, and hair starts growing everywhere but the top of my head. Okay? And so I quit taking them because I was tired in my ear here and my eyebrow. That's what made me think about it. Is I went to get a haircut yesterday, and the lady was like, do you mind if I do your eyebrows. And I'm like, yeah, no, sure, do my eyebrows. So she got the comb in there to do my eyebrows, and she started, and it sounded like she was cutting down a forest of trees. Like they must have been terribly long. So all that to say, guys, facts. You start getting worried about something that may be happening in the future, get facts. Inform yourself. Educate yourself on the truth. If I would have educated myself a little further, I probably would have found out that if you start taking these herbs, the hair is going to start growing out of your ears and your eyebrows and everything like that. But I didn't. I didn't educate myself. I just saw one thing. And again, remember, we have these filters of the way we see the world. So the way I saw the world at 39 in 364 days didn't have that filter of I'm 40 and I'm old. But as soon as that I'm 40 and I'm old filter slipped in, I started seeing the world differently. So, I like to just, hold on. I like to just give that example. That's a good one, actually. All right. So, real quick, I'm not going to do a super long live today, guys. I really appreciate y'all hopping on. I got to go find some spots for my peach business that's about to start in just a couple of months. So I'm going to be working on that. But I wanted to, kind of had to do this thing for the algorithm. I did this for the algorithm. What do you mean? I mean, the algorithm of YouTube likes consistency. And so if I'm going to do a live once a week, which I've kind of committed to in my mind, then I got to do the live once a week. And I didn't really want to do it this morning. But consistency, the algorithm. Now, why do you care so much about the algorithm? Are you trying to get rich off this YouTube channel? Absolutely not. If I was trying to get rich on a YouTube channel, I would pick any other topic. Okay? Because it's a very, very small niche of YouTube. But what I am trying to do is build a community. I want those that have been through treatment and that are working on their life and trying to become their best self. I want that group of like-minded individuals to be able to have a community where they can go. Now, obviously, it's not much of a community. Oh, man. I got froze up. What got froze up? Alright, well, my little tablet over here is froze up. I don't know if that's the tablet that froze up or my... anyway, whatever. Trying to see, the enemy's trying to keep me from telling you guys what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a community, guys. That's why I want the algorithm to know that I'm going to show up and do this live, because I want more people than the ones that I know that are working on their recovery to have a place that they can go to talk to other like-minded individuals. There's not a lot of groups like that out there. But I know that if you're on this, then most likely you're working on your recovery. And if we can have a community here, then the people that are just starting out on recovery flip on this channel and they see all these people interacting with each other and lifting each other up, then they will likely join our community. And I want this community to grow, not for me, guys, for you. I have a pretty successful recovery, I would say. I live a life that is, I have more contentment than I ever thought was possible to have. Any person to have, not just me. So I'm not really doing this for me, I'm doing this for you. I want my fellow people that go through treatment and that get out there to have as much resource as possible. So just know that that's the goal behind this. Also, I very much so want to begin so when I went to treatment, I started to realize that there needs to be my bad, I'm moving a fan over here, I'm hot. Ugh. That there needs to be, okay, I'm back. There needs to be a place for people who are leaving treatment that, so some people that go to treatment, they have been abused by people in their life, or just fighting all the time with those that they're around, and so their environment is causing a lot of the depression and a lot of the anxiety that they're dealing with. That was the same for me. Yes, my wife at the time, we were fighting, that's one part of it. But another part of it is the people that I knew there had seen me struggle with addiction so much that anytime that I would get sober, and I would go tell them, and I'd say, hey guys, I haven't been drinking for a while, I haven't smoked in 2 weeks or whatever, I would always get this look like, yeah right, you'll be back. Yeah right. And those that know that have struggled with addiction, when you start doing good and you go around people that are expecting you to mess up, it's discouraging. It's very discouraging. You're like, man, okay, I might as well go ahead and drink. If everybody here thinks I'm drinking, even though I'm sober, then I might as well go get a drunk. That's how you think when you're doing that, when you're struggling with that. That's why I don't like to use the word sober. Because using the word sober to me has this connotation of, I gotta not do alcohol, I gotta not do drugs, don't do that. The thing about it is, in your mind, when you say don't drink all day long, your mind does not hear the don't part, it only hears the drink part. It only thinks about drinking. So, recovery focuses on this new life that you're going to have. What are you going to do instead of that old life? Of course, if you struggle with addiction, depression, and severe anxiety for long enough, you want something different. You don't want to keep staying. But if you're just focused on not being sober, I can't be depressed because I'm going to let people in my life down. I can't be anxious. I can't do all these things simply because I'm just trying to abstain from them. Then you're not giving yourself a very good shot. So that is why I really, really want to begin this recovery community, you could call it. Here on YouTube, that's part of it. But what the vision that I got from God is this place that people can move to when they leave recovery. There's a lot of others that were like me that need a new fresh start, a brand new city state so that they can have success in recovery. But there's not a whole lot of places for people to go that are like that. Yeah, there's halfway houses. Halfway houses are not all that great, guys. A lot of times in halfway houses, you have people that are still using. They've just figured out how to use in such a way that they can pass the drug tests that are required to live there. So I want to start, and the 4 people that are on here right now, probably you've heard me talk about this before. We need a place for people to move for 6 months or 9 months or 7 months. A place that people can go and they're creating new neural pathways every day, just like I was. I really, guys, more than anything, give most of my success to the fact that I started over in a new city, in a new state. I know a lot of y'all have heard me say this, but if I would have gone back home with the lack of preparation that I did, I for sure would have fallen back into the old way of thinking, and when I fell back into the old way of thinking, I would have the old self-worth, and I would start beating myself up, and then I'd want relief from that, so I'd find a substance again, and I'd likely fall into using a lot of that substance, overdose again, maybe not get brought back to life next time. So to me, it was go back home and die, or start over in a new city, in a new state. And there's others that have come through the treatment facility that I've worked at. There's a couple on here right now that went through and heard my story about starting over in a fresh city, in a fresh state, and they realized that's what I need. That's what I need to do. And there's been more, but there's only been a couple that have had the means to be able to start over. A lot of times when you make it into treatment, you're broke when you leave. One, because treatment's expensive. Two, because you were living a life that was not being wise with your means before you got there. So if you're broke and you realize I need to start over in a new city, in a new state, I can't go back home, but I have no money to be able to do that. That's who I want to start this community for. And that's why I really hope you guys will join. If there's anybody listening to this that is not familiar with me or this channel, please subscribe, stick around so that you can be a part of what God's going to do through this community. Okay? Again, I do not care about subscribers and views. I really highly doubt I'm ever going to make any money off of YouTube. But what we can do is use this technology that the enemy uses to steal so many people's joy and peace. We can use that technology for the kingdom and take back what the enemy has stolen. The enemy has stolen the hearts and the minds of so many young people and older people. This whole country. The enemy has done a great job of robbing them from what God has given them. And that's where we come in, guys. God, I say this a lot. God did bring you to treatment so that you could find healing. Yes, He did. Praise the Lord. But I think more than that, He brought you the treatment and got you your healing so that you could go out to the world and talk to somebody else that's hurting. Maybe you could teach them a little bit. Maybe you could encourage them to go to treatment. Maybe God's putting it in your heart to maybe start something like what I'm talking about, to be able to help people. And again, so that's why stick around on this channel. Come be a part of what God's going to do. I know God is going to do this thing that He's shown me. I know I'm not going to do it. I know I will play my part, but it is going to be all God. So, it comes down to making changes. Seems pretty obvious, right? Oh, okay, I'll start making changes, then things will change. Yeah, obviously. But you have to understand it. You hear me talk a lot about this understanding. Understanding to me is much different than knowledge or wisdom. Knowledge is the words we learn out of a book, we read this, that's knowledge. Wisdom comes from us actually having experience and living through things. Understanding is what the Holy Spirit gives us. Understanding helps us to go, oh, I get it. I see now. I see. Thank you, Lord, for helping me understand. We have to have an understanding of why we need to make small changes. The reason why this community is going to help so many people be successful is because it's going to have structure. If they're going to be a part of this community, you have to wake up at a good time every day. You have to do the walk on the days that we do a walk. You have to, there's going to be jobs that you can do in the community. We're going to have a way of actually making money. I don't want to give away too many of my secrets because then you'll run off and do it on your own. No, I'm just joking. But there is going to be products that we are going to produce so that they can actually make money. But the key is building a routine, a structure that has them go through each day creating new neural pathways and then strengthening other healthy neural pathways that had been created in the days prior. And that's where the success is going to come. I didn't really realize it at the time when I got out of community and I started doing what I was doing, which was taking walks every day at first, and then I started adding going to the gym, and then after that made me feel so much better, I started adding mindfulness. I didn't realize that what I was doing was creating a good, healthy routine. I just was thinking of other things that they taught me about in treatment, and then I started adding these things on my own. People need structure if they're going to make change. It's little changes that ripple and have a much greater impact than you can imagine. I'll give you an example. When I moved to Greenville about 3.5 years ago, man, time is flying. 3.5 years ago, I moved to Greenville. And there's a lot of, when I moved there was a lot of trash on the ground. Just driving down the highway coming in, just little pieces of trash all down the side of the road. It was pretty bad. And for the first year or so, maybe the first year and a half, I kind of let it irk me a little bit. Kind of was disappointed. Like, oh man, I can't believe, how come people can't take better care? Why do people let this happen? How can people just throw trash on the ground? And so I thought about it like that for a long time. Then one Saturday morning I got up and I said, you know what? I'm going to create a new neural pathway. I'm going to get outside and get sunlight in my eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out with a trash bag and I'm going to start picking up these little pieces of trash. So that's what I did. I went out there and for 2 hours just went down the side of the road picking up little pieces of trash. I filled up 3 big black trash bags full of stuff. They're heavy too, not just like fluffy, just heavy. And surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly when you understand the science behind it, but I felt so good when I was done. It doesn't seem like something that you would be like, oh yeah, you went and picked up trash. Yes, I want to do that too. But I got up, I created a new neural pathway, and also I got a huge hit of dopamine because when I got done, that 2 blocks, that 100 yards or 200 yards of highway was clean. It looked good. So the next Saturday came around and I was like, man, I want to feel good like that again. So I got up and I did the same thing the next Saturday. Filled up 3 more big old trash bags. Did it the next weekend. I did it for about 5 or 6 weekends in a row. Now keep in mind, I'm not really doing this for anybody else. I'm only really doing this for myself because it made me feel good when I got done doing it. But I started noticing other people starting doing that on their own. Actually, one Saturday, this guy came up. I think he was on the city council or something, and he handed me this little grabber. It's like a long thing with a clamp on the end where you can reach down and pick up trash without having to bend at the waist. So he said, man, I've seen you out here the last few weeks. I really appreciate it. Here, use this. And so I got it and I started using it, and then I started noticing other people out there with their grabbers. So maybe some of the other city council members said, man, we can't let this guy who just moved here be out here cleaning up our community. And they might have been like worried that I was going to run for mayor one day or something. So they may have been doing it out of political concern. Maybe somebody else had kind of the same thought. Man, I can't let this kid I'm no kid anymore. I can't let this old man come over and pick up the trash in front of my house. I need to do that myself. Oh man, this mic's not even on? Crap. Man, I'm not batting 1,000 today, guys. It's okay. I hope y'all could hear me. Let's see. Is that Lincoln? We linked up. I apologize if that sound was pretty terrible for a minute, y'all. But I'll tell you what, this town is so much cleaner than it was now. That little bit of change, I don't know what this thing is doing. That little bit of change, that little bit of me doing just what I could do, picking up a few bags of trash, rippled into other areas of this community, and other people started picking up trash. And it turned to where this town is a much better place to live now. Not that it was a terrible place to live, but like if you live in a nice town but it's trashy, it kind of takes how good it is a little bit away. Can we safely say that? I'll give you another example. At work, we have several buildings. And so in each of these buildings, they have these mats. And we have this uniform company called Cintas or something. And they come out once a week and they change out these mats in all the buildings. And it's helpful, you know, people's dirt gets in the mats, so then the hallways aren't as dirty and everything like that. So I understand the logic behind it. But for the longest time, these guys would come over and they would throw out these mats, and it looked like they did it in about 60 seconds. Because the mats were all disheveled. And it was messing with my OCD a little bit. So I would go down there, and I'm working here now, so I would go down there to sit in a class or go down there to get somebody, and I'd walk in and I'd see all these rugs that were just disorganized and not in a straight line, and it irritated me. And I let it irritate me for probably 3-4 months, maybe 6-7 months. And I thought about it, man, I need to talk to their boss. Someone needs to talk to them and tell them they got to start doing better. Come on, this is a really expensive treatment center, and we need people to be able to feel like we know what we're doing. But what I did instead is I just started, one week they came and they threw the mats out and it looked all disorganized, and I just went behind them and I straightened up that mat. And I made sure there was the right amount of space in between each mat. And then the next week came by, picked up my nice organized mats, threw them out all willy-nilly, sloppy, and so it was disorganized again. And so that week I straightened them out again and left the right amount of space. And again, it was mainly my OCD that was going. I wasn't really necessarily doing it for everybody else, maybe a little bit, but more so it was bothering me when I went in there, and I was like, I don't want to see this anymore. So for about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 6 or 7 weeks, I straighten the mats out every single time they come. And after the 6th or 7th month, I go in the pavilion is what it's called, and I go in that building, and I was going in to sit in on one of the classes, and I didn't notice it even at first, but I looked and I said, hold on, I just saw the uniform truck come, so that means they put these mats out, but look at them, they're organized, they're evenly spaced, they're straight. And so in both of those instances, the trash one, making the small little change that I could make, just doing what I could. I didn't organize a rally for the whole city of Greenville to get up and go out and pick up trash. I didn't do any of that. I didn't talk to the managers of the uniform company and express and they had a meeting with all the uniform employees. I didn't do any of that. I just saw an area that needed some change. And then I made that change. And then I was consistent with that. And God used that. I'm not pleased. I'm not like, yeah, I'm so good. It's not about that. I'm using these examples to hopefully highlight in your brain. You might go, oh, you know what? I could do this a little differently. I could maybe make this a little better. And then maybe you go to your community and you start making those little changes. And then that becomes the new norm for that community as well. And then just like the trash, me picking up the trash and straightening the rugs rippled into making those things better, this conversation of talking about what we can do and make things better will ripple into your communities and whatever change you make. And then maybe after you make that change in the community, down the road, you start to explain to somebody else the incredible feeling that comes with making change. The great rush of dopamine that you get from accomplishing something. And then maybe other people start to make that little change. And that's how God can change the world, use us to change the world. I know that I used to, you hear people of like, we've got to change the world. And it just always, it doesn't matter what they were talking about. Changing the world seems like such an incredibly impossible thing for any person to do. The world is huge. Billions of people. I can't even wrap my mind around these large numbers of how many people live in this world. Side note real quick, I did this little thing the other day because I was thinking about how much money Elon Musk has, and I was figuring out how much if someone made, and I figured out it was like if 337 people started making $80 a second, or no, $1 a second, so $3,600 an hour for 80 years, 337 people, $3,600 an hour for 80 years, and then you'll reach how much money Elon Musk has. Anyway, I don't know why I got sidetracked on that. Why was I saying that? One person or a group of people changing the world always seemed like impossible. But I hope that those couple of little examples helps you to understand how doing some of those things can actually change the world. You used to get so overwhelmed with that. How can I change the world? Yeah, God's called us to change the world. How in the world does that happen? And it happens by us changing the world around us. One thing you'll learn in treatment or through therapy, or however you may learn it, maybe you learn from this channel, but you start to learn that we can't make other people think a certain way. We can't make other people behave a certain way. We can't make people talk a certain way. The only thing that we can do or have control over is our behavior, our thoughts, our words. But I can almost guarantee you, I don't know your stories, I don't know who's online right now, by the way. What up, y'all? I see you. Okay. What up, Rick? What up, Maddie? What up, Mark? What up, pro player? Anyway, guys, I don't know your story. I don't know what's going on in your world, but I can almost guarantee there's something in your world that you can make a slight change and just do your part, and God will ripple that out to affect hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people. All right, so that's good. All right. So I think I wrote these things down. Let me make sure. Oh, another reason why I'm doing this YouTube channel. Community. However, I also miss my kids a whole lot. And I'm praying that through social media, through YouTube, through maybe some people from my old life finding my channel, and then the algorithm just works it out to where eventually they see one of these videos and they get to hear me tell them, guys, I miss you so much. I love you. My children, my daughter, and my son, I miss you guys so much. And I want nothing more than for you to be in my life again. So please give me a call. I have the same phone number I've always had, the same email I've always had. So anyway, I know that God will bring them back in my life. I think the reason why they had to be removed from my life for a while is because I had them in the place that God should be. You know, because of my trauma, I started having very low sense of self-worth. This fear of abandonment kind of ruled my life. And when my kids were born, I got infatuated with them, as a lot of us parents do. And they became the only thing that was important in my life. My health wasn't important in my life. God wasn't important in my life. It was my kids. And so they were on the pedestal. They were what mattered more than anything else. And you might think to yourself, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Well, kind of, guys. I don't know why this tracker keeps clicking on. I keep doing this hand thing because the tracker clicks on. So just that's why I do it. Our children are supposed to be one of the most important things in our life, for sure. But God and our relationship with God must be the most important thing. It must be. If it's not, God will have to help us for that to be the most important thing in our life. And sometimes that means those relationships might need to crumble. Track me again. It might need to crumble. All right, let's see. It's because I use my hands so much. My dad used to make fun of me when I was growing up. I would go talk to him and I'd be like, Dad, I got to go to the movies. It's going to be great. And I just used my hands so much. And he would be like, he'd talk to me and be like, making fun of me. So I know I use my hands a lot. And then now that I'm older and working on public speaking, I'll watch these YouTube channels and the guys talk about how great it is to talk with your hands. So there, Dad, I knew what I was doing. No, but seriously, I am supposed to use them much less than what I do for it to be effective. Because too much is just distracting. I've had several people not be able to sit in my classes. Not a whole bunch, maybe like 2 or 3 that can't sit in my classes because I move around so much that it distracts them or triggers them or something like that. And probably some of that was just an excuse to not have to go to class. All right, so what are we going to talk about? What was I talking about? All right, dopamine. Real quick, a little refresher on dopamine, guys. I just want you to remember when we accomplish something or experience something pleasurable, we will get a hit of dopamine, or whatever that is will trigger the release of a hit of dopamine. If whatever it is that triggered that release of the hit of dopamine comes to us very easily, then that dopamine will not last very long. Dopamine is what motivates us, it's what drives us. And so if we're low on dopamine, our motivation is going to be low. Our drive is going to be low. And with ADHD, you have a dysregulation of dopamine. So if you have ADHD, you're already short on dopamine. Okay? But if I pick up my phone triggers the release of dopamine. And after that triggers the release of dopamine, because it didn't take much effort except for picking up my phone, it doesn't stick around very long. And so after it fades away, it leaves you wanting more of the phone. Okay? So I call that easy dopamine, if y'all can see this. I don't know, can you see it today? Let me see. Yeah, kind of. TV, drugs, social media, junk food, YouTube, alcohol, TikTok, smartphones. Would y'all say those are easy, right? We get these easy fix, these easy dopamine hits. And the problem with that is one guy described it like squeezing a lemon or squeezing an orange. When we wake up in the morning, our dopamine stores are about as full as they're going to be. And so we get these easy hit dopamine, we start giving that dopamine. That dopamine starts decreasing, and we start giving it away to these things that have no challenge. Like our phone is a great example. We pick up our phone early in the morning, and we get on YouTube, or say not YouTube, because you're on YouTube right now, so I don't want to talk bad about YouTube. Good job for being here. We get on our social media and we look and we realize, oh, we have these certain messages and we have these likes, and that sense of achievement, so we get a hit of dopamine. And then we go out and into our day, and that, because it did not challenge us, that dopamine goes away and leaves us wanting more phone. So the problem is that if we're depleting our dopamine with our phone, then when it comes time to actually achieve something for the day, we're low on motivation. We're low on focus. We don't have the ability to do the thing that we actually really want to do. Okay? So examine your life in your mind right now, and are you giving your dopamine away to these easy things? Okay? There's these companies these app companies, these phone companies, they spend billions of dollars every year to try to figure out how to trigger the release of the most amount of dopamine in your brain by using their app or their phone. Billions of dollars. Because if they can get you addicted, they can trigger the release of enough dopamine to where you want to keep going back to their app and their phone, then you're on their website more. You're on their app more. You're on their phone more. They get paid for every hour that you're on their app. So they want you to be addicted to your phone. That's why the games are set up the way the games are set up. They're set up real easy on those very first few levels. Here's a reward, and here's a gift, and they're giving you all these things, and sounds are going off, and oh wow, and it, Mom, you know I'm talking to you. My mom, she knows. That's her addiction. It's not an addiction like mine, like she can't put it down, but that's what gets her. She gets those games on the phone. So, I'm not saying that it's bad to like play a game on the phone, but if you're doing that first thing in the morning, it's going to be hard, much harder for you to accomplish recovery. You want to, if you're starting recovery, you have this list of, I'm going to do all these things today. I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to journal, and I'm going to practice gratitude. I'm going to do all these things. All those things take dopamine to do them, because that's the drive, that's the motivation. I'm going to do these things. But if you pick up your phone for the first hour of the day and you're flipping through social media and all that, and you're depleting your dopamine, then when it comes time to actually going to the gym or going to take your walk, you don't have the dopamine for that. You're like, I don't want to do that. Ugh. And I'm just as guilty as anybody of doing this, guys. I've really been trying to get back into the gym and haven't been too successful yet. And I kind of have struggled with picking up my phone too early in the day. But you got to realize that's what's happening. So please, anytime I'm talking to you, please never think that I'm talking to you and saying, here, I do all these things perfectly, and so you do these things. No, I'm telling you from experience what actually works, because I've seen it work in my life. All right, what's next? I'm going to go through the video. Okay. But when we do something that's good for ourselves, such as taking that walk in the morning, making your bed. If you haven't started making your bed first thing in the morning, that is such a gimme, guys. You're gonna just like free dopamine. All you got to do is make your bed, and it doesn't even have to be made like army pounce a quarter on it, but just slightly put together. Just slightly made. It doesn't even have to be fully made, but when you do it, you're going to give yourself 2 doses of dopamine. You're going to give yourself a dose of dopamine when you actually make the bed, and then you're going to get a second dose of dopamine that's going to make you feel good when you come back at the end of the day and you see your bed made. You go, good job. I did good. Okay? So making your bed is one. What else we got? Journaling. Meditating or practicing mindfulness, gratitude. Good conversations are also a good source of dopamine, because we know that good conversations, some of them take some effort, right? Sometimes you got to dig deep, talk about things that we're not really wanting to talk about. Sometimes we have to stay in the conversation for 45 minutes or something to make sure that, the conversation actually completes. Wow, that was big old spittle. We get the hit of dopamine, but because that took effort and we actually had to put effort behind it, we're going to get a hit of dopamine, and it's going to last. Doing those things in the morning are going to help you be motivated to do the things that you want to do later on. And I'll give you a great example of this. When I first started at this treatment center, I was what is it called? Some kind of tech. I was a tech. Basically someone that just does whatever needs to be done. I drove the golf cart around. This was a big campus, so everything's spread out really far, and so sometimes people have to get across campus really fast, so we'll give them a ride in the golf cart, bring them back. I really love that job. For my ADHD, it was like the perfect job for me. I'm buzzing around all day long. I'm hopping in this class. I get bored with it. I hop out and I go drive around and pick up somebody, having conversations, doing that stuff all day long. It was great. But then they offered me the position of patient advocate, and they said, hey, would you like to be patient advocate? And I was hesitant at first, like, I really like my job. And they say if you like what you do or love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's how I had felt up to that point. But it paid more. And another reason why I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to do it is because of all the conversations. I just had such great opportunities to have long conversations and share my story and hear their story and actually really be able to help people. And so now I'm moving into this patient advocate position, and I'm like, am I going to be able to still have that same impact. But I got the job, and so I went down to I had to go to my office. I started having to go to the office for the first couple hours of the day, doing emails, working on different projects that needed to be done. And when I started that job, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I did to myself. I really screwed up, because every morning I'm having such a hard time doing. I'm in there not being able to send an email. I'm just beating myself up again, just kind of like growing up with the ADHD. You beat yourself up for not being able to do certain things. So now I'm in this office beating myself up again. Man, you're such a terrible, you can't do anything, can't even write a few emails every morning. And then I stumbled across this video where the guy was talking about this dopamine early in the morning thing. And I had a pretty good understanding of dopamine, but he was basically going over all that. Say, if you get up first thing in the morning and you watch YouTube or whatever, you're getting that easy dopamine, and your brain is going to want that easy dopamine. All the things I just explained. Okay? Anybody who's just popping on, rewind it about 2 or 3 minutes. And so I realized I can't do it. Okay, I have to stay off YouTube first thing in the morning. So for the next, pretty much forever, I still do it to this day, but I stopped watching YouTube first thing in the morning. And it's not like I was just watching dumb stuff on YouTube first thing in the morning. But I was picking up my phone, maybe watched a couple of shorts, found a video I wanted to watch, whatever. It wasn't anything major, but it was triggering the release of that dopamine. And then when I would get to work in those days, if I was needing a little bit of dopamine motivation or something, I'd pick up the phone, feel a little better for just a second, and then it would go away, and I'd need to pick up the phone again. So I stopped using my phone first thing in the morning, and when I got to work and not using the YouTube, I was able to bust these emails out. Actually, all my PowerPoints that I use, and pretty soon I'm going to put the link in one of my videos that has all my PowerPoints so you can go through them on your own. So stick around. If you're not subbed yet, go ahead and sub so that you can follow us in all these things. But these PowerPoints were born after I did that. I was getting so much accomplished, or at least so much more than I ever was before. And so again, one of the things that I'm teaching you from experience, these things are real. So if you are getting up in the morning and getting on your phone in the first 3 or 4 hours of the day, stop it. Okay? If you are a person that needs to get on the phone first thing in the morning because you need to answer emails or something like that, I highly encourage you to use the black and white setting on your phone. Now, so I'm going to walk you through this real quick. If you're an iPhone user, you go to settings and then accessibility, or you can just search for color filter, okay? Color filter will be under the accessories settings, or you can just type in to search color filter. In Samsung, same thing, you go to accessibility, and on Samsung it's called grayscale, okay? Grayscale. And so same thing, you could just search settings for grayscale. I highly recommend you putting that on for the first few hours of the day if you are someone that needs to get on your phone first thing when you wake up. For those of y'all that know me and were in my classes and you still haven't been doing this, do it. And you might say, oh, I'm feeling fine. I do that every morning and I'm not depressed. Okay, it could be better. Life could be better than where you're at right now. Yes, it's good now, but who doesn't want better? Put it in the chat if you want better. I don't know who that is, Ian McPherson, but who is that? If you don't mind telling me who you are, brother. Tell me who you are. All right, so routine. You need to make yourself a routine list. I used to hand those things out, so if you were in any of my classes, you should have about 12 or 13 of them. We got one person that wants better. Good job, brother. I'm just playing. Anytime I do that, I'm not making jabs at anybody. You need to make a routine list, okay? At the very top of that routine list, I want you to write, wake up at a good time. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm just going to scoot down and show you this. Okay, this is my daily routine thing, all right? I highly encourage you to get something like this going if you haven't yet. But at the top, you want to keep it simple, wake up at a good time. And if you're not waking up at a good time, that's what you need to start right away. You need to start getting up before 9 o'clock, okay? That's still kind of late. 6 or 7 would be better, but 9 o'clock's all right. As long as you're up before 9 o'clock. Wake up at a good time. Make your bed. Easy. Again, does not have to be military grade making bed, but somewhat of a made bed. Getting outside and getting sunlight in your eyes. 10 minutes of sunlight within the first hour of the day waking up. Okay, and again, maybe you're saying, I'm not depressed right now. I don't need to do any of these things. Try it for a week. Come back next Saturday, next time we do a live, and tell me how your week went. But you have to really do it, okay? Brush your teeth, or this is where it switches up. Whatever you do in the morning, this is where you put that stuff. Cup of coffee, gratitude journal, time to reflect with the Lord. This time to reflect with the Lord does not mean that I spend an hour in meditation. For a guy like me, that's not possible. Oh wow, you can't even really see what's on the board there. I realize that. Well, another reason to sub to the channel, because this will be on one of the videos. But thing about it is, every time you check off one of these things on the list, you get a boost of dopamine. And that boost of dopamine goes, good job, makes you feel better about yourself. And it also says, let's do another thing on that checklist. Because it knows by doing the next thing on that checklist, it'll be able to feel more dopamine. We started talking about this talk last week, and that's why I was just continuing it. You're addicted to dopamine, my friend, regardless if you want to or not. That's just how God created our brains, for dopamine to motivate us. Okay? They did this study with rats where they were able to block the rat from experiencing any dopamine, and the rat just laid there until it died. Didn't eat, didn't drink. They could put food and water right in front of its face. It did nothing. It laid there till it died. So dopamine is vital. It is life force. You have to have it. And you do have it. And that dopamine is going to work to motivate you in a direction, regardless of what direction that is. It's going to. So if you pick up your phone first thing in the morning and you go for that easy hit of dopamine, you're going to get addicted to that. And that's the path you're going to go through for the day. But if you start your day off by waking up at a good time and checking the things off this checklist, here, let me see if I can get it a little closer. Is that better? Let's see. Oh yeah, kinda. All right, wake up at a good time, make your bed, go outside, get sunlight, brush your teeth, cup of coffee. Or maybe have a cup of coffee before you brush your teeth. I don't know. That might make, one, your coffee taste bad, and also then you're not going to have the good minty fresh. Whatever it is for you guys, you know how your morning goes. But does that mean that every single morning you're going to have to get out this list and start checking it off and you're like, oh, I can't remember what I do after I make the bed? You might for a day or two, but pretty soon your brain is just going to remember this list. But every time you're checking something off this list, you're getting that hit of dopamine, and that dopamine is going to say, let's do more things on that list. Follow me? All right. What are we at? What are we at? How much time are we on, guys? Hour 20. Okay, I'm gonna do 10, 15 more minutes. Okay? Because I gotta go look for peach spots. Please do this, guys. For those of y'all that were in my classes and you have these sheets and have not done it yet, please do it. For a while. It does not mean you're gonna have to be doing this stuff the rest of your life. But while we're reprogramming our brain, we want to reprogram our brain to the right way this time. We don't want to program our brain the same way it was before. And if you were getting up and getting on your phone first thing in the morning and all that, you're likely going to start reprogramming your brain kind of in that way again. So please, 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 if you haven't, please start. All right, I'm gonna do this little thing. All right. Okay, you can see that, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see that, okay. All right, so this is a balance beam, okay? This is supposed to represent a balance beam. And this balance beam is balanced because your body or your mind will always work your body into homeostasis. Homeostasis basically means balance, okay? So if over here we have rewarding and pleasurable, so this would be like your dopamine. And over here you have things like cortisol, okay? When we go for the easy dopamine first thing in the morning, off of our phone, social media, drugs, those of us that struggle with drugs, alcohol, TV first thing in the morning also, we're getting that hit of dopamine, so it's kind of making us feel good for a second, but because your body wants to stay in homeostasis, it will release cortisol, among other things, to help balance out the dopamine, because your body always wants to be balanced, okay? And if you'll notice, it actually releases more cortisol and the other things to help balance it out because it's got to get it to a balance. So if it just put the same amount on there, it would stay like that. But it has to put more on there to get it balanced. Okay? You follow me so far? All right. But if we can do the things over here, we can put in that effort and we can put that grind in, puts a little bit more wear and tear on our bodies, kind of producing that stress on our body. And we do that first thing in the morning, walk, exercise, mindfulness, putting in some gratitude. I know gratitude doesn't seem hard, but if taking the effort to actually do it, it will produce. So we get the pain chemicals going first. And then because our body wants to balance it out, it releases dopamine, but it releases more dopamine. Just like this one released more cortisol to help balance it out, this one actually released more dopamine to balance it out. And so since you get this extra dopamine, that's why it ends up lasting a long time. Okay? This one of the things, guys, ice baths. Okay, I'm not a person that's done ice bath, but I can only imagine that ice baths take a lot of pain, a lot of stress. So doing that ice bath is difficult. I don't know why I did that. Okay. So, a lot of pain doing an ice bath. People that do ice baths and people that have done ice baths that have done cocaine before kind of give it the similar like boost. Like they feel really good afterward. But because they put in a lot of the effort and the pain to get there, that dopamine lasts hours. So they get that really good, and I say good cocaine dopamine. Cocaine dopamine is not good, guys, okay? But I'm just saying, when you first do it for about 35 seconds, you get this rush and it feels really good for about 35 seconds. And then it's downhill from there, I promise. Don't do it. But people equate the dopamine rush as the same, cocaine and ice baths. Except with the ice bath, it ends up lasting for hours. Okay, so so hopefully that just gives you an example of how it works in the brain and why we want to make sure that we are doing these things that are taking effort. Taking a walk first thing in the morning, not the easiest thing to do when you're in when you're not in treatment. In treatment, it's kind of easy because what else are you going to do? And you got to get up to breakfast anyway. So you take a walk, no big deal. It's a little harder in the real world, okay? But it's necessary, guys. I just had a big group come back for an alumni weekend, and all 10 of the people that came back were in my classes when they were in treatment. And they were all doing so good. And they all were very intentional about that routine when they got out. And they stayed with it. Okay, so I don't know what that looks like for you. But whatever it looks like for you, please start it. Okay, and again, I know that you think you feel good and you don't need to do it. I'm not depressed, I don't need to do that stuff. It can get better. Let's see, hold on. Check your phone. Let's see, better, I always want better. Check your phone, brush your teeth first. And a lot of ice. Are usually colder after. Okay. I don't know what y'all are talking about, but I love you guys. I really appreciate y'all sticking around. I'm going to try to do this live stream either Friday or Saturday or Thursday, somewhere in there, every week. I'm going to be dropping a video on Tuesdays and Fridays, and for a while, that's going to be getting all my classes up there, and I broke it down. The reason why I'm doing my classes in like little chunks instead of just the whole class, one, because it's giving me a little bit more time to edit, because when I put the whole class up there, I want to have my PowerPoint on there and everything. Stop following me. So when I put the whole class up there, then you'll actually be able to like go through it and have the PowerPoints and everything like that. So I'm putting up the class in kind of chunks, maybe half the class. This last one, it was like a third of the class, so 10 or 15 minute videos. So just know that that's the way that's coming out, and that's why it's coming out. So eventually we'll have all those videos in there, and then my whole classes will be up as well. And then anybody who's watched some of my old videos, I actually went back and watched them, but my scripting and all that isn't the best, but I got a lot of really good, that was when I was making those old YouTube videos, that was when I first started having all my ahas. That's when I was really started to have epiphanies and see the way that God works in this world. And so, also, all those classes is where my current classes, all those old videos are where my current classes were born, and the PowerPoints, all that stuff comes from those old videos. So if you want to check out some of those, and if you see something that you think would be good for me to make a video about again, please let me know. I'll be on here, like I said, once a week. And that'd be a good time to let me know. If anybody knows anybody who knows somebody that might have my email address or number. Oh, you know what? Y'all can also email me, christianaddictionrecovery@gmail.com. I forgot about that. I was going to put my phone number out there, but I don't want, that's probably not a great idea. christianaddictionrecovery@gmail.com. So please reach out to me if you have any ideas for videos. Eventually, I would like to start doing testimonies. And I think I will do like a testimony Zoom call with somebody, and then I'll edit it down and then put it up as a video. So if anybody's interested in sharing their testimony, again, christianaddictionrecovery@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. Guys, this world we live in is fighting for your attention. It wants to trigger the release of your dopamine so that you get addicted to whatever that thing is. Understand what's going on in the world and start doing something about it. And the way that you do something about it is by intentionally doing those things that take effort. Okay? So if your first 4 hours of the day includes phone or any of those things that trigger the release of the easy dopamine is what I call it, stop it. Start doing things that take effort. Immediately. All right, I think I'm done. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I could add on to the end of it. I'll say this. Hold on. Let me see if let me go through this. Anyway, I love you guys. It's a great community. It's only gonna grow. It's only gonna get better. I just encourage you, keep hopping on with me. Build this community with me. For those that weren't on earlier, I was just talking about how I'll say sub and stuff like that, but I am not going for money, guys, with this. I'm going for community. I want to build a really incredible community that gets things done down the road. And because I know anybody who's been to treatment, where I went to treatment, I know that God has started to put something on your heart. I don't know what that is, but God, that's what he does. He brought us there to heal us up and to arm us with our testimony and a vision, and then send us out into the world. And when we do that, we need support. Like there's a guy that is on the channel right now. He got out and him and a friend have started a small Christian t-shirt company. Actually, I think it was a lady that came through treatment, and I think she's the one that kind of took the lead. But anyway, there's a couple people that have been working together to create a Christian recovery t-shirt company. It's called Hope Fiends is the name of the channel. Or I'm sorry, not channel, is the name of the business. Hey, Drew, if you're in there, can you put the I can't remember the name of the website that they go to get the shirts. But I want to build this community so that you guys, whenever you're ready to do whatever God's vision is for you, I want you to have support and connections to where you could find resources if you need the help. So just know that what we're going to do here is we're going to build a really great community, okay? It's not just going to be me and just me talking all the time. I really want you guys involved with it, which for those that I sent out the invites, that's why I sent you out the invites, is because I want you to be a part of what God is going to do. I know he's going to do great things. He's already done so many great things in your life, in my life, in our life. But this is just the beginning, okay? It is only going to get so much better. Hold on. on Printify, but linking to Etsy and creating independent websites soon. I'm going to pray for everybody real quick. Let's pray. Father God, I thank you so much for your goodness. I thank you so much for your grace, your patience, your mercy. Most every single one of us ought to be dead from the life that we lived. And the rest ought to be probably almost dead. But you look down in the midst of all of that falling apart that we were doing, and you reached in and you grabbed our souls, and you got us help. And now that we have help, have had the help, and are living this new life, we are all so incredibly grateful, Lord. I just pray for every single person on this channel that has hopped on this channel or this live over the last hour and a half. I pray for peace that surpasses understanding to rest in their amygdala, calm that fight or flight part of the brain, help them to engage their prefrontal cortex more and more each and every day. And I just pray that you help their journey and their education, continue to put the right videos into their algorithm, continue to let others reach out to them if they're in a time of struggle or depression or anxiety. I just pray a hedge of protection around their bodies and their minds every single day, God, as they go out into this world. Watch over them. Surround them with you. Just be with us, Lord. We know that if you're with us, that the rest doesn't matter. Thank you, God. You are so great. You are so good. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. I got to go work. Work. Yep. Anyway, I'll holler at you. Peace.